Regular board meeting. It's October 21st, 2025, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. At this time, I would like, if I could ask Mr. Wardrop, Ben Wardrop, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, thanks for this.
Please stand. Face the flag. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
And now I would like if Dr. Dustin Seaman would lead us in the mission and vision, please.
Yes, thank you, President Marcus. Our mission in BHUSD is educational excellence, and our vision is our students will realize their full potential to thrive with integrity in a complex and changing world.
Thank you, Dr. Seaman. And now would our student board member, Charlotte Cavey, like to read the community pledge?
Of course. The BHUSD community acknowledges that in order to achieve educational excellence, we must act with integrity and respect for each other and our learning environment. Therefore, I pledge to model civil behavior and respect in all communications and in public while maintaining a culture of honesty, listen and acknowledge differences of opinion, do my part to protect an inclusive culture in which we honor the relationship between all school community members, and honor our learning environment, including how we take care of our schools and personal property. By holding ourselves and each other accountable to this pledge at all times, we will promote an environment of educational excellence that will allow our entire BHUSD community to thrive.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Okay, at this moment, I would like to read and call for silence for a member of our faculty that passed away recently, a former faculty member, and I'd like to read about Mr. Dave Jackson. He was a former Beverly Hills High School principal. He desperately wanted to help other people better their lives. From the thousands of school students he knew by name, to the hundreds of teachers and staff members he worked with throughout his long career, connecting with them individually and understanding how he could help them in any way drove his passion as a lifelong educator. Dave started as a coach and teacher, winning awards and players' hearts in volleyball, softball, and baseball. He worked his way up to assistant principal at Burroughs High School before being named as the principal of Royal High School in Simi Valley. While he initially retired for the first time in 1994, much like The Godfather, every time he thought he was out, they pulled him back. His future after retirement, including stints as principal of Calabasas High School, winning the National Blue Ribbon Award, Malibu High School, Beverly Hills High School, and a series of guest starring roles in district administrations at various districts. After each of them, he again retired. Dave's love and enthusiasm for helping people was undeniable and contagious, and was only secondary to his love for his family. Dave is survived by his loving wife of 50 years, Karen, 2 sons, Stephen and Greg, beloved daughter-in-law Annie, and the 2 greatest joys of his life, his grandsons, Charlie and Max. His blessing is forever. And now if I could get a motion to approve the agenda, I would welcome an agenda motion.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. And I second. I'll make a second, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were seconding.
No. Okay, before we start, I would like to mention that we are on Zoom tonight with one of our members, and he is on Zoom. And I need to mention he's in New York on a business trip for the district. So we will be polling everybody for the agreement on things. So we'll start with Ms. Cavey for the vote to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, Mr. Stewart. Is he not checked?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Manicherry,
Yes.
Dr. Stern,
Yes.
and Mrs. Sagali.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, and I'm a yes, so that 5, and with a provisional of 1 vote for the student board member. Dr. Chernus, was there anything to report from closed session?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Okay, are we ready for Mrs. Marcus Meets? Good afternoon, and I'm here this afternoon with an interview for Miss Saraska. I hope I'm saying it right.
Saraska. So yes.
Saraska. Well, I won't call you Loanne, but I know that's your first name because I like to have people call me by my Mrs. Marcus. So I've been here long enough, so I guess I get it. But so welcome to the brand new Salter Auditorium. What do you think of it?
It's not quite done yet, but it is beautiful. This is a great venue for some of our smaller productions, but still very professional looking, and I'm very excited for our students to be able to use this facility.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about Ms. Saraska.
Well, I professionally, this is my 29th year of education. I started my career as a special education teacher, a boys and girls volleyball coach, a girls basketball coach, and I had an opportunity to work as a teacher on special assignment with effective instruction in the instruction department. So I conducted a lot of professional development for teachers for several years. And ultimately, after 3 years, a little over 3 years, it dawned on me that I really, really needed to be back with the students. And so I asked to go back to a school site, and that's when I started working as an assistant principal. And I've been I did that for, I think about 14 years, and then I had an opportunity to become a principal. And then here I am at Beverly Hills as a principal, and I'm just super excited.
We're lucky to get you right now, and I'm looking forward. If there were any 2 words, single words, that could describe you, Loanne, I'll call you.
Yes.
What would they be?
I hope they would think that I would be kind and grateful. I try to live my life with kindness and gratitude.
What do you do when you're not at Beverly Hills High School running the school? What do you do in your house? What are your interests?
Well, honestly, I think between work, I don't have a lot of free time anymore just because, running a high school takes a lot of time. But when I am given a few moments here and there, I do like to spend time with my family. I've been with my husband now for 33 years, and so I do I still like him, so I still like to spend time with him.
I hope so.
I know, right? And I have one daughter in college, so I do like to, even on my way home from work, I'll call her on the phone, and so that's how I have my time with her. And I still try to have individual time with my younger daughter, who is in college, but she's still my baby. And then from there, my family, I'm very close to my siblings, and so we spend a lot of time with my siblings. And my lovely little dogs, my little forever companions.
You have dogs?
I do. I have two little dogs, Catande Tulers, not a super popular breed, but they are amazing. Their names are Kylo and Wicket. So if you haven't figured out, I'm a Star Wars fan. I do watch a lot of Star Wars movies. I just like to watch a lot of movies in general too, which is kind of a little escape
Take you out
from
of
the real world.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, of course. Well, I want to thank you for being here this afternoon, and I want you to know that I really appreciate it. I'm hoping that this will be a wonderful year. I just want to tell you one thing that I have heard, that the discipline and the behavior of the high school kids this year has really been a lot less uproarious.
Oh.
And I want to tell you that what I think is the reason, maybe the opening of the school and what's happening has played a role in that. But I hope it continues, because I like to think that you're part of it and you're on top of it.
Yeah, it's funny because I physically, I'm 5'1" on a good day, but if I can help keep, the law and order and just things moving smoothly, and having our children operate with respect, I'll take it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Ms. Zareska.
Thank you so much.
I'll be around.
And thank you. I just want to say thank you for all the kindness and all, just the hugs and the warm welcome that you have given me. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to go to the public hearing period. Just want to remind everybody that the comments must be respectful and relevant to personal district business, personal attacks, inappropriate language, and discussing specific employees or students are not permitted. And with that, I'd like to see if, is Daniel Lifshitz here? He's on
Yes,
Zoom?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, hi, Daniel. And your wife is also on Zoom?
Correct.
Kim Lift, you're ceding your time to Kim, right? Is that correct, Daniel?
That is correct.
Okay, so Kimberly, you're on. You have 6 minutes, and you can start when you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening. On Friday, October 10th, the Trump administration illegally issued reduction in force or RIF notices to thousands of government employees, including 466 at the Department of Education. I am speaking today because as a result of this decision, the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, OSERS, including the Office of Special Education Programs, OSEP, has been completely decimated. The one figure I've heard consistently is that between 3 and 4 employees, mostly executive level, remain. As I hope you all know, OSEP is tasked with ensuring students with disabilities receive a free and appropriate public education as required by the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act, or IDEA. The evisceration of OSEP means there is now no one to do the following for the country's most vulnerable students: administer the more than $15 billion in IDEA funding schools receive each year, provide guidance to states and districts on compliance and implementation, conduct oversight and enforcement of IDEA, and support the collection of data and introduction of initiatives to improve special education nationwide. The existence of OSEP is mandated by federal law, and to change that requires an act of Congress. However, an office or department that has no staff cannot be said to exist in any real sense. If a parent or guardian believes their child's rights have been violated by the public school or district, there is no one to call. If a district employee has a question about how best to comply with IDEA, there is no one to call. If state or local staff require IDEA-specific training, there is no one to call. If the more than $900,000 in federal special education funding BHUSD receives each year does not arrive, there is no one to call. There is literally no one left at the desk to click the money button. According to one agency employee interviewed by ABC, if this RIF notice is carried out, the Department of Education can no longer administer IDEA. I have no staff to put money out and to monitor the states. Since these RIFs were issued, there have been 2 encouraging developments. The first is that a district judge has issued an order halting the terminations, though the pause is temporary and the Supreme Court has utilized its shadow docket to allow similar RIFs to proceed. The second is that this past Friday, Dr. Chern has sent an email to BHUSD special education families explaining what the federal government had done and how the BHUSD and Tri-City SELPA have responded thus far, and reassuring us that federal funding for this school year has already been received. Also included was a letter to Representative Ted Lieu encouraging him to co-sponsor legislation to fully fund IDEA and protect it as part of the Department of Education. I have been critical of Dr. Chernus in the past, but I will always give credit where credit is due. This communication, as well as his response to the email I sent to both him and the board in the immediate aftermath of the RIF announcement, was timely, relevant, and reassuring, and I would be remiss if I didn't express my thanks. So thank you for that, Dr. Chernus. That said, my son has as many as 14 more school years to go at BHUSD, and while I'm glad this year is paid for, there is still no federal compliance or enforcement of IDEA, and the start of the data collection and grant application processes for next year's funds is mere months away. The fact also remains that the response from the board itself to the upheaval has been utter silence. Bylaw 9000 states that one of the primary functions of the board is providing community leadership and advocacy on behalf of students, the district's educational program, and public education. I am once again reaching out to this board to beg it to do its job. Thousands of dollars were spent to send 2 board members to the CSBA Coast to Coast Conference in Washington, D.C. in April so that they could, quote, advocate for BHUSD and our students. It looked like everyone had a great time, but newspaper quotes and photo ops do nothing to ensure the services provided to BHUSD special education students remain funded. So I'm going to need you all to lock in now. Did that conference get you any business cards? It's time to dig them out. My son is happy and thriving in his special education class. He is a perfect example of what's possible when all the parts of the system come together the way they should. He's a success story if ever there was one. His teachers, aides, and therapists are criminally underpaid angels on earth who are tasked with doing the most impossible things every day, and yet every day they do it. And it could all disappear because a handful of powerful people want to cause pain. These programs are actually genuinely life-changing for students and families, even if they don't come with Nike-branded spirit packs. The board loves to be able to say that BHUSD is leading the way on things like technology and brand partnerships. Now you have the opportunity to activate that leadership instinct when and where it matters most. Standing together with overwhelmed and exhausted parents who have had to fight tooth and nail for every single opportunity their child has ever received, and say, we're with you and we will fight alongside you. Also, if you'd like a nickel's worth of free advice about board advocacy for special education families, advice that I have confirmed is 100% protected and allowable under the Brown Act, First Amendment, and this board's own bylaw 9323, here it is. If a parent comes before the board to express her dismay that thousands of dollars are being spent to send a trustee to a conference that, per board policy, he has no business attending, and she presents a breakdown of how far those same funds could go to purchase essential supplies that her son's special education class, the prime class, has had to ask parents to donate, and that trustee then hops onto social media less than 24 hours later to post a video of themselves eating a chicken sandwich in an airport, mouth open, with the caption, "Here's me contemplating how many N95 masks I could have purchased if I didn't buy this succulent spicy chicken sandwich. I guess we'll never know." That is not good advocacy. It's a slap in the face to a parent who dared speak up for her son. Especially if 2 weeks later, the same individual shows the backhand by sharing a post from Dr. Chernus featuring a photo of a prime student to all of their own personal social media accounts for clout, calling the prime program a shining star and an inspiration. Mr. Stewart, you do not get to mock special education families in one breath and use our children as content in the next. Whether a student, class, or program receives recognition or derision should not depend on whether or not you like a particular parent. We see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lipschutz. Okay, now I have 3 minutes. Tiara, I hope Tiara, I'm sorry I'm botching it, but Ms. Harris, thank you. How do you pronounce your first name?
Tiara.
Tiara, I was going to say that. Thank you. You have 3 minutes, Ms. Tiara.
Okay, hi. I am here to continue to press for the anti-Black bigotry, prejudice, racial support through education and awareness for BHUSD. Because I'm a resident of Beverly Hills, my daughter, this is her first year in the district at the high school. And while it has been a pretty welcoming experience for her, it has also been one of discomfort from staff and students alike. And the most recent one has been this past week, so last week. Can you hear me okay? Okay, you're just kind of squinting. So the past week, last week, was the late George Floyd's birthday on the 14th, and there was a big thing on social media. And in her classroom, firsthand account, she saw some boys actually laughing about his death and how he got murdered. And for her, she was feeling a few things. She was uncomfortable. It created tension. She was very tense. And she was also angry and confused about how someone could find murder, let alone police brutality, comical, right? So on August 26th of 2025 this year, you all started off the board meeting with Marvin Gaye's What's Going On song. And, you know, that song, it was created because of things like this, right? That Black people still experience police brutality, and especially against innocent people that have not done anything wrong, cruel and unusual punishment. So with that being said, on the same day, you all also passed the anti-Semitism resolution to combat the racism and prejudice, and to also show support for the Jewish community as well, rightfully so, because you all experience racial prejudices. Everyone does at some point. So with that being said, I truly believe in my heart that this will be the right thing for the school district to do, because on your website, you all have quite a few values, some of them being, you know, wellness, inclusiveness, community, and it's all about bringing people together through understanding, through awareness, through education. And with this being approved and passed, it would give not just the staff opportunity, but also the students who may not have that education, or for people to speak to them in the house to learn about people who are different from them. And aside from that, you know, Blacks, I mean, my numbers may be a little off, but I'm pretty sure that the students make up between 2% and 3%. So we really are a minority, and having something like this would be a godsend to have it passed, to give education and awareness to the students in the district, right? When we work together, we come together, there's a better generation, and we all move forward and progress. So
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I would like to now, you want me to preclude this, or do you want me to say something about this position? Okay, this past week, we've had several parents who are the students at El Rodeo have very, very concerned about the atmosphere and what's going on with the construction of BH1 across the street from the school. And we have asked, and we had a meeting with them, and we talked about some of our concerns and what have you. And we have asked them to come tonight to talk about some of the mitigating things that they're doing and some of the problems and so on. And that we really appreciate that they're coming here tonight to speak to us about what they're going to do in cooperation and as a relationship to get the project done and keep everybody happy. I hope that explains. Lauren Smith and Samson Debela would come and have a presentation for us. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and we really appreciate it. I hope that most of the parents that are basically with students at El Rodeo are watching this, because we put out the word that you're going to be here. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having both of us, and we brought some other members of our team as well. We're a big team, and we all operate under the motto, together we win. So I thought your speech was actually a really good one, and that she ended on together with basically the same sentiment, and we really feel that we are a part of the community. We're here to stay. We really want to work with all of you to do the right thing. I have 3 children, well, actually 2 now. I had 3 children in the Beverly Hills School District. One of them graduated from this school. All three have graduated from middle school. I have 2 in the high school. You honored my oldest a couple of months ago as Athlete of the Year, Harrison. So thank you for that. But I just want you to know that I'm part of the community. I'm also the lead developer of the Amman portion of the project. So half of the project is dedicated to a luxury hotel and 2 residential towers, as well as a private amenities club. And I lead that portion of the project. And Samson is here. He is on our Turner team. Turner has been contracted with us to lead both the sort of overall site management of the project, as well as building the podium, which represents a very large portion of the construction. That's the portion of the construction that we are currently underway with. So I would like to just pull up I have a very quick slide presentation that I'd like to share with all of you just to kind of take you through the project a little bit. And just bear with me while I get this technology hooked up here. And let me just turn it into presentation mode. Sorry, I have to move my Zoom out of the way. Great. So I think that folks are fairly familiar with the project, so I'm going to be very quick through this. This is just a rendering to sort of show you what the project comprises. It is sort of the full site that is cornered at the corner by the Waldorf Astoria, who one of our partners in the project developed and owns. The Beverly Hilton, that sits in the center of the project, which we really feel is a really important asset to the community, and we're enhancing it and renovating it to last the next. It was the first building for Hilton on the West Coast, and we really feel it's an important asset. We are building over 10 acres of botanical gardens, some retail. Those are the buildings that you see along Wilshire there. And Amman Hotel, which is the lower building in front of, in the foreground of the photo, and then 2 residential towers that sit behind. To give you an idea in terms of schedule, we are well underway in terms of our excavation and demolition activities, and we've actually started building on a portion of the site and plan to start our pouring in a couple of weeks, actually, of concrete. Our plan is to be largely complete by the time the Olympics is here. This is a photo from today, right, Samson?
Yep.
Of the site. Our demolition activities, which I think have generated most of the concern, and that's what we'll talk to now, is complete. So that's really there was 2 buildings that were just in the foreground of this shot that were part of the Beverly Hilton that have been demolished as part of the development to make way for the botanical gardens. Just to give you an idea who we are, so Kane International is the company that I work for. We build buildings throughout North America as well as in Europe. We're headquartered in London, and our North American headquarters is for the development team is here in Los Angeles. We are built deep with a team that is from Los Angeles, homed in Los Angeles, home in Beverly Hills. We're really here to stay. Our leader actually led the Westfield development for years and actually was responsible for the renovation of the Century City Mall. Our parent, so we're really the real estate arm of a parent group of companies that includes the Golden Globes. It's called Eldridge, Golden Globes, Chelsea Football Club, our Dodgers. We own a portion of the Dodgers and the Lakers, and a number of other businesses. And we really have partners both operationally in a number of the brands, and then we really look at all of the folks that are working with us to complete this project as our true partners, as we do with the community. We're working very closely with the city of Beverly Hills. We have been. They've been great to establish a special group that really deals with the approval of our permits and helps us through all of that process and really oversees our work on a day-to-day basis. This is just showing the inspiration of the project. Of course, it was designed, the master plan was designed by Lord Foster, who I've built a number of buildings with around the world. Really it was about bringing the green of the landscape back to Beverly Hills and creating a really wonderful entry to Beverly Hills. So Samson's going to talk a little bit about Turner.
Yeah, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. I personally have been with Turner for 15 years. I've worked all around the country. I worked in Boston, New York, and now here in LA. Turner Construction, we pride ourselves as being one of the biggest builders in the region, right? We're based in North America. Our headquarters is in New York, but we have offices in every single major city and also internationally as well. Some of the local projects we've done in the region, we completed SoFi Stadium, we completed Intuit Dome. Wilshire Grand Center is a high-rise we did in downtown, as well as doing renovation work within LAX. So market segments, we really work in different market segments. We've done work in green building and healthcare, but also education. So we understand what it is to build around and within a existing school. We've done work recently just at Windward. Actually, we just finished some renovations there. We've done work for USC, for Cal State Fullerton, just to name a couple of different partners we've worked with. So now I just want to talk about our health and safety policy. This is something we pride ourselves on. We take very seriously at Turner. We consider our workplace as our house. We want to make sure that every worker within our job site goes home safely to their families, but as well our community, the pedestrians that are walking past our job site, the cyclists that are cycling by, the vehicles that are driving by, and is obviously as well the school district in El Rodeo that's right across the street from our job site. So, you know, we focus on positive reinforcement of mitigation measures, and that's what I'll be going through in the next couple slides.
One of the reasons we chose Turner was their record on safety and really understanding how to build in complex environments. I've worked on a number of projects with them myself, but they really are experts in this field, and so that's why we chose to work with them.
So just to talk about the dust and dirt mitigation, all right, so as far as monitoring, we have 3 monitors that are set up. One of them is located at the El Rodeo Elementary School. We'll talk a little further later on in the slide about where it's actually located now. These monitors take data at 5-minute intervals. They're equipped with alarms, and they notify the city. The city's on-site environmental compliance monitors. So we have 2 people that are hired by the city that are on site every day, every time we have work going on. So that's.
Can I ask you about that? Because somebody told me that the data that's collected is essentially retroactive. So has the alarm gone off during construction, and what has happened if the alarm goes off, because we haven't been notified?
So the alarm has not gone off thus far throughout the construction. When it does go off, a ZFA representative that's on site will call the principal of El Rodeo. They'll also notify the city, Andre Sahakian, and also the contractor at the same time. So they have everyone's phone numbers, and they would reach out and notify them immediately.
So the data that's collected on dust, right, and I thank you for moving that to our playground. How is that collected? And when those reports come in, if they're over certain thresholds, who's notified? And is it retroactive?
When you say retroactive,
is it real time? So if dust comes in, it's over a threshold.
It's real time. It's real time. So it's collected at 5-minute intervals. If it reaches over the threshold, I believe the threshold is, I can't remember what the unit is, 50 microns per cubic meter, right? They are notified right away. So they actually have a system, and they're notified through their phone that it's exceeded the threshold.
And so has it exceeded it yet?
It has not exceeded the threshold.
And this threshold is what exactly? Like what should there be a lower threshold because you're near a school? Who sets this threshold?
This threshold was set through the EIR, so the environmental impact report that was done before the project started, that allowed us to get the conditions of approval. So we could circle back and get some more details on exactly how.
Can I ask you also, in regards to what Dr. Trina says, once the alarm goes off, assuming if it does go off, what are the protocols? What do you do besides informing the principal and the city?
We stop work. So
okay, so you stop work right away. But in the meantime, the material or the substance, whatever is triggering the alarm to go off, is already passing the threshold of going into this campus, because the alarm's going off. So if you stop construction, what else can be done? That's all you can do.
At the point that the dust has reached the monitor and we get notified, we stop work at that point, and we notify the school, and we could do an investigation report as to what happened at that time, and then we figure out ways to mitigate any dust moving
Well,
forward.
can I ask you, because I'm thinking the alarm is on the campus, you're saying it's on the yard, so the monitor is
There's
on the,
three,
is on the
though.
yard?
There's two on our site, as well
Okay.
as the one that we added this weekend at the school site, because it was requested.
Okay, so the first alarm should be the one that's on your site,
It should be,
Yeah.
yes.
right? And that's when I would assume construction should stop, because once it goes off on your site, it's going to pass over to the school.
You would think so, but we're, belts and suspenders all over the place on this. And that's why the city, when we went through our conditions of approval, that's why the city mandated it, and that they were protecting everybody, including our workers, including everything, that we don't go above the dust.
When you're doing the demolition, are you demolishing buildings that have hazardous materials in them like asbestos?
No. So prior to any demo being able to take place, there's reports that are done, so they go in and they test certain locations within the building. If there is anything that is hazardous, it's remediated and removed prior to demolition. So our demolition contractor cannot start demo until they get, it's called a phase 1 and a phase 2 report. And then what that does is substantiates that the building doesn't have any hazardous material in it.
Thank you. Did your phase 1 and phase 2 both come back clean with no recommendations?
There were some recommendations. There were some locations where they had to remove some I believe there was areas where there was lead paint, and there was areas within the planters that had some mastic that had to get removed.
So first the remediation took place,
Correct.
then the demo.
Yes, then you get a clean letter. After that clean letter is received, then we allow the demo contractor to actually proceed and continue with the work.
Okay. I also have a few questions, but I know that you have something that you're presenting.
Yeah.
Would you like to finish first and then you can take questions, or what's your preference?
What I just asked,
Yeah.
have you finished your presentation?
Yeah, I know you've got a few more lines.
So we can do it either way.
Yeah.
We were just going to go into a little bit of the noise mitigation as well.
Sure, why don't, that's
Why don't you
okay.
finish that?
Okay.
It'll just be 2 more minutes, and then we'll take
Okay.
all the questions.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. So just one more thing for dust and dirt mitigation. So we also have train. Can you guys hear me? Just wanna-
Yes.
Okay. We have
His
train.
name's Dustin, so when you say Dustin, we
Oh,
were a little.
sorry.
Yeah.
Dust. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dust and.
I can't see through him.
So we have trained and certified on-site observers as well that we are required to have, and we actually have more than the required amount of people. We have 4 people just in case someone's sick, someone's not coming that day. So we make sure that that's covered, and there's 4 people within the job site that are certified under that. You can go to the next slide. Some other things for dust and dirt mitigation. We have a street sweeper that runs from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Along Wilshire Boulevard and Santa Monica. The construction vehicles are required to remain under 15 miles per hour on unpaved roads. We have actually gone over and beyond that and mandated a 5 miles per hour speed limit for all vehicles on the job site. We have also paved several main service roads within the site in order to help reduce the dust. So instead of having an unpaved road, we've paved a lot of the arteries that are around the job. And also we have wind monitors that are set up within the job site. And when wind speeds exceed 25 miles per hour, then we suspend and stop work. We are looking at maybe potentially decreasing that exceedance in that threshold. We also water the job site. It's required 3 times a day, but we water the site 4 times an hour, so we exceed that requirement. The next slide is just showing the new location where we've located the monitor per the request. And just to touch upon noise mitigation, we have vehicle staging that's moved as far as practically speaking away from the school. At night, we've switched out to using white noise backup alarms. There's a haul route that is specifically designed to minimize the noise of trucks coming through the entire city. Another requirement that the city has is that we have a 12-foot high construction fence. We've gone over and beyond that with installing a 16-foot 8 high sound wall barrier around the job site. We also have decibel readers, noise monitors, and vibration monitor that's set up at the El Rodeo School.
I'll skip over this. This is just our hall route. And then there was a question, or I expect there was a question just in terms of what we're doing for the community. As we do our permit fees, we're paying an amount to the school as well. And then over the course of the project, will be, I guess, benefits flowing from our project of close to $80 million. So it's a fairly significant benefit.
How's that calculated? Is that developer fees or what?
I actually don't know offhand because it was done a while ago, so I have to come back to you on that if you don't mind.
Is that for the whole city or the
That's
district?
just for the school. That's earmarked for the school. There's considerably more for the whole city. This is an economic engine for the city, for sure. And it is a wonderful, at the end of the day, of course, and we have to live through the construction, but the Botanical Gardens is really going to be wonderful for the city as well. And this is just a recent image that we've completed. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, let's go around the horn.
Thank you.
Ms. Cavey, any comments?
I have no questions, but I do have a comment. I have a younger brother who is in 5th grade at El Rodeo, and of course he loves going to school there. I was concerned about the construction across the street. My mom and I were both, and I think hearing this is more reassuring now, and I feel a little bit better about that. So thank you for coming, and this was very informative.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mrs. Manicherry.
Thank you. First of all, welcome, and I appreciate that you are prioritizing our staff and our students' safety. So I want to acknowledge that you held a meeting with Dr. Chernus and our board president, Mrs. Marcus, last week, and have since been very responsive. And so it's, quite appreciated. Also, I acknowledge that you're trying to move as fast as possible, and it's pretty ambitious to be completed by 2028 for the Olympics, but I think you can do it, and it looks like you want to do it.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, we hope we can do it.
I mean, the renderings are certainly beautiful, and the lush landscape and so on. I'm just thinking field trip, Dr. Seaman, to the gardens, and so it will be such a great addition to our city. I do have a few questions and requests, and I'm not expecting an answer at this moment, but for your consideration. First is if you could forward your presentation to Dr. Chernus. That would be great because the information that you provided, as Ms. Chavez said, is very comforting, and so we can further disseminate that to our community.
Great.
Next, I want to talk about the thresholds because to me the thresholds are either a minimum or a maximum, and so I wanted to know if you would consider 50 is the maximum, so if you would consider if something is above 30 or 35, that maybe you could provide us a warning in anticipation of the 50. That would give me more comfort, and I think that maybe speaks to what Trustee Sabag was saying of what happens at that time. But to me, that's like a too late moment.
Yeah. Okay, we can certainly get back to you on that.
And so I think that would be helpful. And of course, we would want to make sure that you have the correct contact information for the principal, and now you've got Dr. Chernus's information.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about a few more measures. I took a few pictures in anticipation of this discussion. Here we go.
Great.
So these are the pictures that I took coming out of the El Rodeo area, and I do acknowledge that you have installed significant barriers, but I also have seen the pictures where the dust and maybe it's the mist is going up higher, and in the middle it's an open area. And so I would say a couple things about this. There is an inconsistent coverage in the barriers, and I would ask if you could please address the inconsistency. And then you mentioned earlier that the barriers you've installed are higher than what's required, but again, to me, the thresholds or the requirements are like the minimums. And I would ask, at least while you're going through demo, if you would consider going a little even higher.
So I could definitely answer your question about some of the spacing right now.
Yes.
So if I look at the image at the top right, towards the right end of it where you're seeing that crane right above, all that area is actually going to be replaced with the 16-foot 8-high sound wall. It's
Good.
not there now because there was some transition work.
Okay.
Some of that work just got completed. So within the next couple of weeks, we're actually going to be installing the sound wall in that location.
Okay, the sound wall is like the full white wall?
Yeah, the full
Yeah.
white wall that you're seeing is a little higher there.
Okay.
Is the sound wall. And then right next to it right now was a temporary fence. So that whole area will be infilled within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so you are gonna make it consistent,
Correct.
but for now, the height is intended to be where the height currently is. So I just would ask you to consider for the, from basically like the end of your property line to maybe half the way down the other block, you might consider going a little bit higher. But I think definitely being consistent is a minimum.
Yes.
Thank you. And then I wanted to make the suggestion/request if you would contribute to the installation of mature, very tall trees on the exterior of El Rodeo, which would do a lot to combat both noise and dust. And I think it would create a lot of comfort.
We can definitely look into that. We actually had talked about that in the past, so
Thank
we
you.
can definitely look into it.
That would be good.
Yeah.
And then on our side, yeah. So it would, immediately
Yeah.
adjacent to our property line
Right.
Yeah.
on the,
It helps with sight lines and
yes,
everything too.
exactly.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that
we'll
would be
look into it. That's a
helpful.
great suggestion.
Thank you. And then, in terms of hosing down, did you guys start to mist? Were you hosing and then you started to mist?
So we were using 2 hoses to keep the water down, and in order to help the dust, they actually brought a pressure washer in, and in doing so, it created the mist, right? So then that's when we stopped using the pressure washer.
Okay.
As Lauren had earlier on in the presentation, as of today, the structure is down,
Okay.
which is a huge milestone. So now they're going to be processing the material. What that means is they actually separate the rebar and the concrete, and all gets recycled. They have a really high recycle rate. So everything now is vertically demolished, so we're not
Okay.
going to have that issue
Okay.
whatsoever.
Beautiful, thank you. And then also I wanted to ask if you could contribute to the filters at El Rodeo being replaced on a monthly basis.
We can look into that. I don't know what that entails, but we
Yeah.
can look into it.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
the filters in the building.
yeah. For
to
the
be re-
incoming air, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
And then I wouldn't mind getting a third-party consultant. I'm going to think about that request. I feel that if the foregoing, which I've described, is done, I think that considering most of the demo is done, I do think that these measures would go a long way, which is that, to recap, that you will be providing us your presentation. You would provide us some kind of like a staggered warning prior to the 50-point mark. There would be a line of mature, tall, and dense trees. You would install the consistent barrier, and then we can also discuss maybe a higher barrier. There won't be mist, it will only be hosing. We would replace the filters at El Rodeo on a consistent, hopefully monthly basis. And then maybe we can go from there as well.
Okay, so we'll take all of that back and we'll come back to you and
Thank
let
you.
you know.
And then
We'll
I also-
certainly take it in.
Thank you.
into
And I would be
consideration.
interested to know, for example, your you're monitoring results from this past week as opposed to the results after this handful of measures are implemented.
Got it. So you've got a control.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. Dr. Stern.
Hi, good evening. Thanks so much for coming. So as you guys are aware, I think it was August 19th, the Beverly Hills Council approved $550 million, right, from the Melrose indebtedness. And I know, there was a lot of there's a lot of debate about whether this was something that was beneficial, but congratulations that did go through. But I think that what we're all saying is that we really, do expect that the safety and the comfort of the staff, the teachers, the kids, absolutely is ensured. That is a great amount of money that has been given. I do understand that about $10 million or so of the proceeds are to go to the city for some of the direct, the projects that are adjacent or nearby. My scope of understanding is not one as someone in construction, but many residents and those who are parents and teachers and staff are well aware of the $550 million Melrose indebtedness, and I just hope and trust that you guys will continue to take care of our kids and the staff who inadvertently are right there next to what hopefully will be a beautiful gift to our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Mrs. Sabag.
So piggybacking on what Dr. Stern said, it's more than a hope. We actually would really want to see what is happening. Like you gave a number, but you're not sure about the number. We haven't seen anything.
No, it's not that I'm not sure about the number.
Okay.
I don't know, personally, I don't know how it's calculated, but we will get back to you.
When can we know? Because right now, we're going to have at least 3 years of construction happening at a minimum, right? You're hoping to finish at 2028. So when can Dr. Chernus hear back from you so he can report to the board so that we know?
We'll make sure
This week?
this week,
Okay. So a couple concerns that I personally see is you have like a 7-story, I think, building that's going to be right adjacent, like they're going to be able to see El Rodeo, like right above.
It's the hotel, yes, the Amman
Okay,
Hotel.
so are those stories with the rooms there, are they going to have patios?
They are going to have patios, yes.
So I think because our most vulnerable, students are there, our youngest students are there, is there any way to consider maybe doing windows that don't open? Because we did have an incident where I think, which hotel was it, Dr. Chernus, where it was at the Hilton. I don't know, do you know about the incident on the patio where there was an armed person there? And actually, the district helped with BHPD. It was at the Hilton. So you don't know about the incident. So we're very concerned about that. Without getting into any, certain details, I think it would behoove us to not have patios directly over our elementary school.
The building has been approved, the design has been approved, so I can't speak to that. Yeah, I don't know that we can go back and redesign.
So is there
the building.
anything that you can do to maybe make sure that they cannot see, the children playing, or is there any security that we can have?
There's a botanical pathway in front of the hotel, and these are ultra luxury rooms. There's not very many rooms that face the school, and we will do whatever we can, but I don't think we can make the windows not operate.
Yeah, because we have to take something into security measures into consideration.
Sure, understood.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Sabag. I didn't forget you, Mr. Stewart. I'm coming back to you now. Have you anything you'd like to add at this point?
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Marcus. Thank you guys so much for your presentation. Being an El Rodeo student parent, I'm obviously very concerned about the health and safety of our kids. The only one comment I have to say is I drive my daughter to school every day, and I have seen the watering down of the construction site, especially where the, I don't want to misname the equipment, but the big scooper thing with the bob has been operating. And I definitely have not seen any dirt plumes or anything from that. But the one thing that I can say that I have seen is the dirt plumes coming off of the trucks going up the large hill. And I know that you addressed that earlier here in your presentation, but I think, and again, I don't know what the health impact of any of that dirt and dust that's been kicked up from those trucks, but from my personal viewpoint, and I've filmed it and taken photos of it, it seems to me that although the water is working for the equipment, the occasional watering of those paths that the large trucks are driving on is not quite effective for when those trucks are driving. So I guess that would be my number one thing. Although I concur with my colleagues of all of the other questions, is maybe if you could just touch base upon just that one topic of what is being done about those truck paths.
Thank you, Stuart, for your question. So the watering of the, we call them the ramps, right? So we have ramps all around the site that allow the trucks to go in the hole and come up to the street level. So those are especially watered more profusely than the other areas. We can certainly go back and talk to them about watering more, and we'll take a look at that and look back and see how we can improve so that we're not having dust coming up from those areas.
Yeah, I mean, if you would like for me to share a video I have from, I believe it was from yesterday, that the path was completely dry and every single truck that was going up that path was kicking up not only plumes of dust and dirt right around the truck, but it was considerably going across the entire property and then over the Wilshire boundary.
Well, the first thing I would say about that is if you do see that, please let us know right away, because that shouldn't be happening. But in any case, we will increase the frequency of the watering so that that doesn't happen. Hopefully, the biggest thing that's going to stop any of this from happening is starting our concrete pours and getting this dirt covered. And so that's why we're rushing towards that. The large amount of our excavation is actually complete at this time, so we're heading towards that, as I said, in a couple of weeks. Sooner we can do that, the better for everyone. But in the meantime, I certainly will share my contact information with the board, and please feel free to reach out. I know you do, and please continue that.
What's the completion date?
Thank you so much.
Excavation? What's your anticipated completion date for?
Yeah, the anticipated completion date of the excavation is
Approximate.
yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be May of next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So about 8 months to go.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Turnus, would you like to speak?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for coming and trying to, be as proactive as possible. We really appreciate that. Just representing all of our students and families, obviously, I have a lot of questions, and I think we'll continue. We're going to be neighbors.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of concerns. We'll continue to express them. For the next 3 years, I'm concerned about not just the kids we have, but about potentially families, turning away from enrolling in our schools because, there's this big project here. And so we need to be sensitive to that. We are, I'm not convinced this is a positive for our school, for El Rodeo or our school district yet, and I hope it is. So I'm concerned about, obviously, the dust, the particles, the noise. We don't want it to impact our instruction, and we don't want it to impact the health and safety of our families, and we don't want it to negatively impact our enrollment. We already are, at a very small number of kids, and anything that would deter new families, wouldn't help us. So whatever you can do to support our district, we would greatly appreciate it. if there's a way to have a regular communication channel.
Absolutely.
So there's regular meetings and updates.
We can do that.
That would be great as well. And again, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
look
So I
forward-
would like to just add
Yeah.
a couple comments. You know, in thinking back about this whole thing, it wasn't just about, I don't know how many years we've been waiting for this school to open up, and it's been open for about a year, and then all of a sudden, we wind up with this situation of the construction across the street.
Sure.
And the parents were so alive and enthusiastic about it, and then to have this happen, you can understand the angst of the parents. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your cooperation and your willingness to sit down and talk to us and hear our concerns. And I know that, as Dr. Chernus just said, I was going to hope that we could keep this line of communication always open going forward, so that any issues we may not have now or any issues that may come up, we can always address in a cooperative, collegial way to try to address them. So I just got to tell you that I really appreciate your being, and I appreciate your response so quickly to our concerns of presenting to the community what we're doing to try to help everybody that's connected with the school, the community, the teachers, the students, most importantly. And I want to thank you again for being here.
Thank you, and I'll end with what I started with, which is together we win. Okay, this is going to work during construction, and then in the end state if we have a direct line of communication and we're talking all the time. I will say that we're having a community day at the beginning of November the 3rd, and we invite all of you to join us to do a walk through the construction site. But we'd be happy to host another time if that's not convenient as well. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We've come to the consent calendar, and I don't know if anybody is pulling anything. I've not heard anything. Russell, Mr. Stewart, are you in quest of anything being pulled?
No, I do not want anything pulled.
Okay, anybody else, anything? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I actually wanted to, I'm just kidding.
Okay, hearing that nothing is going to be pulled. Well, you know, I'm sorry. Well, all right. I would like a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I make a motion to approve this consent calendar as presented.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Manicherry. I have to have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you,
I
Dr. Stern.
would love to second this historic motion.
Go ahead.
Oh, am I going to take Mr. Stern? Mr. Stewart? Russell Stewart? Okay. All right. I have to call for a motion, and I have to have a roll call vote. Ms. Cavey?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart?
Enthusiastic, yes.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
And Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so that's 5 with 1 provisional. Thank you very much. Okay, we are now at the section. I would like to make a motion to approve amendment number 1 for the Verdantas contract for the geotechnical services for the Beverly Hills High School Grand Lawn. Do I have somebody to take care of explaining all of that to us?
I make a second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Mrs. Marcus and Mrs. Manicherry.
Good evening,
evening.
board members. Thank you for, first of all, voting on this. This is basically for additional services required for the geotechnical support services that's mandated by DSA. The main reason for the additional cost is the night work, that basically they had to work during 2 shifts, and that added cost, it's going to be covered with the contingency that we have for the overall basically budget that we have for the project, and is not going to have any impact on overall program deficit.
Okay, any questions? Mr. Stewart?
No questions.
Thank you. Ms. Cavey?
No questions.
Mrs. Manicherry?
No questions. I just want to comment that our fingers are also in the construction cookie jar for our one neighbors. And I appreciate that we are doing our construction as safely as possible. So I understand that the night work is more costly for us, and we are at the end of our budget dollars for our facilities improvements, but notwithstanding that, I do think that the safe way is the best way. So thank you for making it happen.
Thank you.
Dr. Stern?
No questions.
Mrs. Sabag?
I just want to make it clear to the community. So basically, we're doing night work in order to make it safer so that they're not working during the day with the students there.
Yes, the
So they're
entire
moving-
earthwork operation in the areas that there are some concerns about the quality of the dirt is happening at night.
So we as a district have decided to pay extra funds in order to keep our students safe
Exactly.
in the big picture. I just want the community to know that. Thank you.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Call for the question. I don't have any comment. And call for the question. Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Cavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
And Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. That's a 5-0 with a provisional of yes from a student board member. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't go too far. We have you up again pretty soon on the board discussion. A student board member, you're up.
That was fast.
Well, tonight's meeting is to get home.
Dr. Chernus is chop chop.
Okay.
Are you
Here
ready?
we go. Born ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry I had to surprise you.
I just wasn't expecting that. Okay. Here we go. Student board
Okay.
report for October 21st, 2025. So starting off, dance company had a field trip also with the 8th graders at BVMS. We went to Dance and Dialogue, which is basically a program that's held at Cal State LA. And they have choreographers from all different backgrounds. We took a bunch of different types of classes. There was like African dancing, jazz, hip hop, all of the above. We got to dance all together with a bunch of different students from other schools across California, and it was such a fun experience. Also, the news was there, and so we had a little feature. But this is us in our merch, our new Nike. And yeah, I just wanted to put this in there. We love our merch.
Do you?
Love.
Okay.
So comfortable. Okay, next we have the American Cancer Society Club. They did a little event at lunch where they had a booth on the 3rd floor patio, and they were basically spreading awareness for breast cancer. They were doing some fun like trivia questions, giving out candy. It was really informative, and it was really nice to kind of spread awareness across campus. Next, we had the 2026 College Fair. This was an extremely informative event. I love that the high school does this because it's a great way for students to get really involved and kind of immerse themselves into the world of college, because this is a really stressful time. But having events like this where you can talk one-on-one with admissions officers from colleges all over the country is a really unique experience, and so we're very grateful for that. Next, we have the Civics Community Club. I'm a part of this club. My best friend Nika runs it, and we went to an organization, nonprofit called Baby to Baby. And basically at this nonprofit, they try to help women who are pregnant or they just gave birth, women who are underprivileged, who aren't able to support their families. So we made care packages, we packed bibs and socks, all of that fun stuff, and we spent a few hours there. It was a really nice experience, and I hope that we get to go back soon. Oh, these are some more pictures. I was very happy to be there. Okay, next we have the girls volleyball senior night. Senior night is always a special night for our sports. It's great to have families come out and support. And yeah, these are just some pictures. Very cute. Next we have the Homecoming Spirit Week. So homecoming was last Saturday. I'll get to that. Or like this Saturday. We had a whole spirit week. We always do for homecoming. I'm pretty sure it was it was a very funny theme with like it was kind of like Y2K one of the days, and then we had another day was like barbecue dad versus soccer mom, or like athletic mom.
What's that?
Very fun themes. We had a really great time with that. I just put a little picture of my friends and I. Just couldn't stop laughing. And then we had our homecoming pep rally. This is an event thrown by ASB that we look forward to every single year. We have so much fun. Band performs, dance company performs, cheer. The football team even did a little situation with the cheer team. And overall, it was so much fun. This is like a great way to bring spirit to the school. And the audience was great. We had really fun activities that ASB planned, really fun games. There was some like wig snatching. We had a great time. These are some pictures from the night of the homecoming game. Mrs. Marcus is there, and yeah, you're
So
there
was
too.
Mrs. Manicherry.
Yes, you're there too in the corner.
Mrs. Dr. Stern was there.
Yes, I saw.
I was not.
I know
Um,
why.
Well, she wasn't there.
Huh? I said, I did.
Mr. Stewart was there.
Yes, it was so much
Mr.
fun.
Stewart was there, right?
Unfortunately, we did
there.
lose.
Dr. Seaman was there.
Yes, we did lose, but it's always fun.
That's adorable.
And yeah, these are my friends and I. We're the seniors on dance company. Yeah. Okay, this is a picture from homecoming itself on Saturday night. Let me tell you, it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. ASB did an amazing job. The venue was at Eden Sunset, and it was a fabulous venue. It was a lot of fun. We had a great DJ. We had a great photo booth. We had glitter tattoos. There was a huge turnout. Compared to years prior, there were like 300 students. The dance floor was packed. And we had like the king and queen have their little dance, which was also really nice. Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Next, I also just wanted to include the BVMS field. It looks beautiful. I'm sad that I'm not attending BV to experience it, but it looks great, and I am so happy for the students at BV that they get this new nice field. And finally, I just wanted to include this fundraiser that's going on. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce this name. Baccio de Latte? Baccio or something. This is just going across all of the different schools in the district, and it's like a little competition, I think. And
Join us for, what does it say?
Ice cream, gelato.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Canon. Yeah. And that concludes my report.
Okay, let's see it go around. Mr. Stewart, want to make any comments?
Charlotte, like, what am I supposed to say every week? Like, it's just better and better and better, you know? And again, I don't mean to make the same repetitive joke, but I feel like Dr. Chernus is going to now plagiarize half of your report. So fantastic again, as always. In fact, even more thorough than last week. And I'm glad that you brought up the Nike stuff. I'm so glad that you and all the girls loved it. I saw the smiles on everyone's faces when they got it. I saw some of the videos that people had posted. And even just at the homecoming football game, I just saw the energy of everyone, and I'm just glad that that agreement and us getting those outfits for everyone has made such a positive impact, even though there are some in the community that don't feel like it has. But the proof's in the pudding, so thank you so much for bringing that up.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Thank you so much for taking the time to make this presentation. I feel like what we do as the board is a little bit in the abstract, and then we see the pictures of you and your classmates and our staff working so hard to make this a great place. I had a blast myself at the homecoming football game, and I'm glad that the homecoming dance ended up being a big success. So I really want to thank our staff, ASB, and everybody who put their time into preparing for these events. I mean, you even had the elementary school kids wearing orange and black on the Friday of homecoming day. And so I appreciate it. I think the community feels it and appreciates it. So thanks for reminding us of all the good stuff happening.
Thank you. Dr. Stern?
Thank you for that report. I did see, I wasn't at the homecoming festivities, but I did see when they were driving around, and I'm told that's been for many years, right? They drive around, and it was beautiful, and congratulations to Perry, who is Colby's brother, and then a homecoming queen was, oh, they were just gorgeous. The two of them were just, it was amazing to see that. The football, you know, it saddens me a little bit because I'm honestly concerned that kids are going to get hurt. With the scores we have, I just want to take the opportunity to say that I think we should have some sort of a study session and discuss what we can do, because with some of the scores we have, I'm worried that a lot of our players are on the ground and getting hurt. And I just, moving forward, I think it was a beautiful night, but it is a concern I have, and I do want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Sabat?
Yes, Charlotte, thank you so much for your report. Very informative. I love listening to everything and seeing the pictures, and some of them that, you know, we're able to attend. It's great, and sometimes when we're not able, we see your amazing pictures. And I love how it was promoted for the homecoming, and as Mrs. Monticelli said, that even the elementary kids were excited. And the principals were promoting it. So that was great. I love the civic community club, the baby to baby. Just, I hope and pray our kids don't get any ideas. But I'm glad you're helping the ones that got a little in trouble. So I was getting a little worried with that one. You were enjoying yourself a little too much. But yeah, I like that. Yeah, exactly. And the college fair. I love the college fair. I've seen those college fairs. They're like amazing. They actually have, I don't know if you know or not, but each person that's there, they actually live here. They live here, and they come and promote the campuses, the schools, the universities that are, let's say, in Boston, Harvard, or all these universities. They have their booths, they show our kids, they speak to our kids, they get our kids energized and excited, and so important. Dr. Seaman, do we do that once a year or more?
Yes, we do it once a year, but we have college reps that come almost every single day, and sometimes 2 reps per day. Depending on scheduling. So all of our college counselors work with, they go to NACAC, which is our North American College Admissions something, and that's committee. And that's when they are able to meet all of our regional and local representatives for all of our major universities and colleges. They set up schedules and recruit them to come and meet with our students during lunch, before or after school, in addition to the college fair.
Oh, that's great. So basically, like, we'll have our counselors knowing what the students, you know, where they want to go, and then they make these meetings with these representatives.
Correct.
Love
and
that.
so those happen all year long. So not in just
Fantastic.
this isolated evening. The evening is really around also bringing the parents into the fold. It's not just about the students.
Yeah, that's a great time. Thank you so much for your report.
I still don't know why you don't have the University of Minnesota show up.
I'm going to turn off my mic.
Because it's too cold over there.
You could ask me to be there for that, but nobody ever asks me. I don't think anybody's ever gone from the University of Minnesota from Beverly Hills.
Not since I've been here. Close though, like Madison, all Big 12 now.
There's a lot of kids that go to the Big Ten schools, but
Yep.
they don't go to Minnesota.
Not Minnesota.
They're
We'll
lost.
work on Charlotte over here.
We'll make the Miss Marcus Scholarship.
That's a good idea.
Dr. Chernus, it's your turn if you want to follow that report. Oh, by the way, Charlotte, as usual, great job. I love it.
Okay, so here is my report. Very active. A lot of fun activities, a lot of great programs and great initiatives going on right now. So first thing is, and it's the purpose of this slide isn't to read all the words, but just to emphasize, we are now implementing the Danielson framework. And so I took part in a walkthrough, and we had teachers and administrators, and we did this walkthrough at every school site. We had a professional trainer from who's an expert on the Danielson framework come and guide us through that. And so we are with Fidelity working to improve the teaching, the quality of instruction in our classrooms. And so it starts with everyone being on the same page, so everybody knows what we're evaluating and how we're evaluating it. And so it was my first time going through the walkthrough with the trainer, and I participated with Principal Soroxa at the high school, and it was very informative, and I think it'll greatly improve the quality of our instruction. We are now this week kicking off our after-school tutoring program, and so I do have an example here. This is an example of our high-impact tutoring math for grade 5, and so this at El Rodeo and Horace Mann, this is what the students will get, and so up to twice a week, so math once a week, English once a week, and we are targeting grades 3 through 8, and I couldn't be more excited. This is not homework club. This is going to be specific instruction by our teachers in small groups for our kids after school to give them extra support in English and math. So we've never done this as a school district. This is a huge initiative of ours to bring up the quality of instruction and the quality of learning in our students so we get more kids at and above grade level. We do have a special board meeting next week, so I just want the community to know. I know the board knows we'll be going over some relevant board policies as well as our district strategic plan, and we will be laying out our goals for the year. This week, I'm very excited to announce it will be our first Superintendent's Advisory Committee. We had a lot of people that have thrown their hat in, and so we'll be meeting in this room and going over a lot of school-related priorities for our district. So this is for parents, community members that applied and were selected to be part of this committee. And so I look forward to our first meeting, which will be after school on the 23rd. We still need a couple members for the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. So if you know anybody interested, the application is here. It's on our website. We could really use community support here. And so please consider applying and giving back to our community. Tomorrow is BHHS PSAT Day, so this is a big day for our PSAT testing. All 9th graders will take the official College Board PSAT exam. And so it's important for our kids to get ready. We have our 10th graders participated in 3 college and career readiness sessions. We have 11th graders taking the official College Board PSAT. it's a sort of a college work day for our 12th graders. So it's going to be a very productive day for our students. We have the Parent Partnership Program coming up on October 30th. And so please, parents, this can be an informative session. We encourage our parents to participate, and we thank our PTA for helping sponsor this. Homecoming was a great night. A special shout out to our football team. I firmly believe that character is often developed not how you take wins, but how you take losses. And it's been a really hard year for these kids. And they have kept their heads up and really represented us with character and with heart. And so just know that we are always thinking of ways to support and build this program. And so we know it's been a tough year, and we're thinking about how to support you. But a special shout out to each and every one of the football players who showed up and have shown up every game this year. And just know that in my eyes, you're all winners. So thank you. We had a great run of the stars. I got to bring my daughter Harper to this event. It was so much fun. The 5K, I sort of cheated on the 5K as I drove the golf cart. So I will admit that. But I did run the 1K with my daughter after. But just seeing the community come out and support kids, cancer awareness, it was really a great community event. We had members of the school board. We had Miss Manichuri was there, Mrs. Marcus. We had Mary Wells from the city. We had school resource officers. We had just so many parents. It was a great time for a great cause. I had the honor of being an official member of Rotary yesterday, and so it's an honor to give back to the Beverly Hills community and to really partner with Rotary today and into the future. I want to thank Ms. Manicheri for sponsoring me along with Chief Barton, and really it's not just an honor and a privilege, but I think there's a lot of things we can do as a school district to really partner with our community, and this is a great opportunity. And that concludes my report.
Okay, let's go around for questions or comments. Mr. Stewart, are you still up?
Thank you, Dr. Turnus. I'm not going to bore you with giving you all the accolades that I've already shared with Charlotte. Again, a great report, and I concur with your feelings of the football team, which I'll comment in my own board report. But yes, definitely a big shout out, not only to football, but to all of our athletes. We've definitely not put a very large focus on athletics for a very long time. It's going to be a building process like any team has to, starting basically from scratch again. But to put in the commitment and to tell the kids, hey, just being a part of a team, suiting up and training and getting out there, even though the outcome might not be the W that we're all looking for, just being a participant and fighting hard is a great life lesson. So I'm very proud of all of our kids.
Ms. Cavey.
I really want to highlight the tutoring program that we're implementing now. I think that's absolutely amazing, especially since we have our own staff, our own teachers at our schools who are working closely with the students. I think that definitely builds a better understanding for the material, but also builds a better connection between the student and the teacher, which I think will also help the students even more. And I hope this is something that we can maintain and carry on throughout. So thank you.
Mrs. Manicheri.
Thank you. Dr. Turnus, thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to confirm that for the the extra tutoring that's happening for grades 3 through 8, that is for students who are not meeting grade level standards, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. I mean, you know how I feel about it. I'm so pleased about it. And I think that between offering the same during the summer school time, where it's anybody who's not meeting or exceeding grade level standards, and we've gone from making that available to 12% of our students to 17% of our students, and Dr. Seaman was at 35% of our students, elementary students this summer. I strongly believe in this no child shall be left behind approach, and I thank you for making it happen. It is the inaugural year, and I actually think that in a year or two from now, we will not need it anymore. Thank you.
Optimistic.
Yes.
Dr. Stern.
Thank you, Dr. Chernus, and jointly, Dr. Seaman, Dr. Chernus, and other parties who have invested time in the considerable efforts for crafting the after-school intervention program. I've been saying for a long time, and you know, when I started to look at the scores and what was going on, it really definitely occurred to me that one of the best ways we can put our money and our efforts is towards intervention. And to hear that, in fact, we are going to be using our own teachers is even better, because from my analysis, one of the difficulties that schools have is that when they use an intervention teacher, it isn't necessarily someone who's in the family, so to speak. It's not someone who's holds some of the same professional standards that our own faculty have. So to hear that it is someone who very well will have in sort of an inborn pride to make these kids come up with this support is outstanding, and something we've needed for a long time. I know that a lot of viewers say, you know, you guys, you talk so much about buildings and construction and things, and when do you talk about achievement? And here's one of the times when our administrators, and you too especially, have put in the time and the effort. And I know that our next meeting we'll be talking more in depth about academic achievement, but I want to say to those who perhaps say that, oh, we don't talk about it or discuss it, we certainly do. And it is endeavors like this that come together that really will put us on the map and absolutely make our potential come forward in terms of academics. I also want to say that it certainly does require a joint partnership with parents. You know, we can have the best resources in the world, we can have the best program, best online, offline materials, but we must have that partnership with parents who are being strong when some of those kids might say, you know, Mom, I'm having anxiety right now, or I don't want to go, or, you know, is that to the best of your abilities that you appeal to them and their motivation, because they're going to feel good when they're doing well too, because they absolutely know when they're not meeting great standards, and we want them to feel empowered with that. So I totally salute you with that. And I look forward to hearing more, and I want you guys to continue to put dollars and efforts in budgeting every year towards intervention, because it is a small price to pay and the dividends are huge. When we look at the horizon and wanting to have, say, a blue ribbon school, it does come back to the fact that we are at the fundamental level, we are a educational agency. And what that means is one of our biggest priority is, you know, aside from safety, and you know, is to really ensure that we are doing well academically. And I just want to applaud again you guys for putting that forward, and thank you for your report.
Thank you. Mrs. Sabag.
Yeah, so thank you for your report, Dr. Chernus. So a couple things I wanted to ask you. First of all, the Danielson walkthrough. For the community to understand, the Danielson framework is a framework of accountability, and you basically walk through all the classrooms to see the rigor in the classroom, and that's part of, you look at certain points of the classroom. That would be great if you can just explain just a little bit.
Sure. So it's what to look for when you walk into a classroom that informs how well the instruction is happening in the classroom. So, for example, student engagement. You want to, you are trained to see what students are doing when they are engaged, and what kind of instruction stimulates student engagement. So if you go into a classroom and everyone's sort of, the kids are, you know, looking up at the wall, or they're doodling and they're not really paying attention, and the teacher's up there sort of lecturing, it'd be a very low engagement. And so that's one of the domains that we look at as student engagement, whereas if you go to another room and you have kids in small groups and they're discussing, they're learning, and they're debating it, and they're articulating it, and they're active learners. So that's how we measure effective teaching. And so the Danielson framework is specific criteria that we look for in high quality classrooms. And what we're trying to do is grow that among all of our teachers.
That's fantastic. So I think that will definitely get us to, where we're trying to go, our goal for the Blue Ribbon School. That, and also the after-school tutoring program, I also want to say that is so important, because we're giving our public school as a private school feeling. So anybody looking at BHUSD, as a parent coming from the private school sector, which I was not thrilled with public school system, and I moved to Beverly Hills specifically for BHUSD, I can tell you makes a huge difference, because in a private school, when parents, the students have issues, the private school is like a business. They push it on the parents, go get tutoring. And here we have not only the Danielson framework that we want to make sure we have rigor in the classroom, we are also doing the after-school program. And if people in the community know that, they will want to change from the private school to our school, because our school is just amazing and it's just getting better and better. So also I wanted to say, you said the partnership, the Parent Partnership Forum. What exactly is that? Because this is the first I've heard of it.
Sorry, the presentation that's going to be on October 30th, which is run through Student Services. And so last year, they started to create a series of different opportunities to partner and bring in our parents from the community. In past, we've done things like utilization of the cell phone.
Dr. Tevyev, when she came, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yep. So I think there was 4 last year. We've whittled it down a little this year. I think we have 3, 2. Yep. And
I don't think anybody could hear what he said.
Oh, there's 2 currently scheduled. We're working with the PTAs on potentially more. The brainchild actually came out of BVMS PTA a few years ago. They're the ones that launched the Parent University opportunity in collaboration with Dr. Scott and that administration. And since then, Student Services has really kind of picked up the ball too to keep it moving forward. The one thing I am going to say to the community, though, is we do struggle with getting attendance. So if you are listening, we do challenge you to please come out, because if we feel that the topics are important, that is why we're able to bring in guest speakers, that it's important for all families to hear.
Thank you for bringing that up. I think we do struggle with parents' attendance. We should clarify that when we do programs and we want the parents to be aware of what's happening, they don't necessarily show up. Maybe it's timing, they're exhausted. Maybe we need to videotape it and they can see it there. That, and also another thing that I think is concerning is that parents are afraid to approach any kind of concern they have. So they come, let's say they'll come to the board members and they'll tell us rather than the teacher. I mean, maybe we can discuss that later, but in regards to partnership. So, and with that, congratulations on Rotary. That's a huge, great congratulations, and thank you for your report.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Chernus, for your report. I have a couple things that I want to bring up. With the evaluation, Danielson, we adopted another program, as I recall, to help track the results, to make it easier to keep a record of what's going on. Do they train them on those now too, so that they use that facility that we spent money on that, as I recall?
The bullseye.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks to the board and Dr. Chernus was able to purchase Bullseye, which is a digital platform for us to be able to go in and do walkthroughs, informal and formal coaching cycles with our teachers on the platform. And it's live feedback to the teacher and also back from the teacher to the administrator. So it's a great two-way communication in live time where the actual Danielson framework is built into the platform for us. So we can tag student evidence, we can tag teacher evidence. So thank you. And it'll actually be discussed a little bit too on October 28th, just around our progress of implementation and already launching. So yes.
So I just wanted to bring that up, that it's not just an administrator sitting there observing the teacher, but there's feedback going back and forth, and it's at on time, right at the same time type of thing. So it's very good for the learning for both the principal or whoever's doing the evaluating and the teacher. Okay, I would like to say something about, I know the after-school program is wonderful. I am wondering if we're missing the boat on one group of children. We take the kids with their CAS scores if they get whatever they get. We have a group of students called 8th graders. They take the test in the spring. Then they're going to the high school. Now, I am concerned about those students that don't get evaluated like we do with the 3rd through the 7th graders, because they're taking it in 8th grade and then they're going on to the high school. And we should be able to find some way to identify those kids that are now in 9th grade that may need some intervention, because they're going to take the test again in the 11th grade, as you know. And I think that's very important, that maybe we're missing a group that might need it. And you want to make a comment on that?
Sure, we are, and we need to support the 9th and 10th graders. And so we have some intervention during the day. We're also looking at other ways to support them. You will see next week when we share our data, but we're only, in mathematics, for example, only half our 11th graders that take that test are at grade level. So we have a responsibility to support the 9th and 10th graders and 11th. It's not just about preparing for the 11th grade test. That 11th grade test is tells a story about how these students have been doing throughout high school. So we are looking at ways to support our 9th and 10th graders. Dr. Seaman, can you speak to what we're doing to support those kids? Because we have the data, we get them from 8th grade. What do we do when they get to high school if they're below grade level in math and English?
Yep. I'm talking about the kids that are, not meeting standards at the 8th grade level.
Yep, and one of the key components to tracking them too, because we do not assess our 9th and 10th grade, is the assessment tomorrow. So the students are sitting for the PSAT 8-9 tomorrow. As soon as we receive that data back, that is a discussion that'll happen within our PLC work for that intervention piece, whether that's being provided tutoring services, whether that's hooking them up with air tutors as well outside of the school day, depending on their performance level. In addition to our outside of assessing, just not on grade level, but also our D's and F conversations. Our administration still is pulling 5-week grades, 9-week grades, setting up individual meetings with families and parents around setting up additional intervention tools that can support those students specifically and individually. And so there's a lot of great opportunities for our students. Again, as long as our parents take advantage of it and support us and help us holding our students accountable for those intervention programs. They're only as good as the effort in which we put forth.
And I will say that this is a huge conversation that we really need to look at. Is the schedule best supporting our kids? I'm not convinced, for example, the office hours are being best utilized after school. A lot of kids have athletics after school or other programs. And so we talked about a traditional schedule. We've looked at a lot of different options to find the sweet spot. But we need to continue to look at this because the results that we're getting aren't where we want them to be. And so we got to get better.
Mrs. Marcus, oh, I'm so sorry.
Do you remember you and I asked when we had the conversation about tutoring to add on the afternoon tutoring program at the high school because they're just doing the lunch? Do you gentlemen have any update on a potential for that? Please? Or I don't expect an answer right now, but I know you've got a lot going on, but Mrs. Marcus and I both shared that we felt like the lunchtime tutoring might not be a good idea for the only opportunity at the high school.
We're exploring looking at the way of trying to leverage and mandate our office hours currently for some of the students that are struggling, because we do have our teachers in our classrooms
Great
after
idea,
school
yeah.
and leveraging that time. So we have been throwing around concepts with both our principal and our assistant principal of instruction to hopefully partner with the parents to help encourage, if not mandate, the attendance of students in certain areas during the office hours for specific support in specific content areas.
Can I ask you if, in regards to the office hours, I personally know a lot of students that go, but it sounds like they're not, what you're saying. Is there any way we can implement, maybe they can get extra credit if they go to the office hours? So let's say they're really behind, and these are the students that you're saying really need it, are not going, and that's why they're not doing well, because they're not doing well in their regular classes, and yet alone coming to office hours, right? These are more difficult to handle. So what if those students, because when you say mandate, that's kind of hard to force them. If you give them like a little bit, okay, you know, you're behind in English, let's say, you'll get extra credit if you go to office hours. So not only are you going to catch up on whatever you're behind in, it's also going to help you. So you need to do this. Otherwise, I don't know what else you could say. Otherwise, what?
Yeah.
I think we will definitely be bringing this back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mrs.
Wait, Dr. Stern, did you have something more to say?
Nope, nothing further.
I thought you were getting.
No, no.
Oh, no, I was saying, sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to tag on
All
to your
right,
question.
I'm sorry, I wasn't on. Mr. Carrot and Mr. Solari, buildings B3 and B4 update.
Okay, now it's working. Thank you again for your time. Again, I just want to thank every one of you again for your support. If there is any success on the construction program, obviously it wasn't possible without your guidance and support. I just want to give a broader update because I have a couple of good news about other projects also. The upper athletic field project is going to be completed right on time, even actually a couple of days ahead of time. So they are finishing the upper athletic plaza area as we speak, and the contractor is going to start demobilizing from the site at the end of the month. So that is going to be a project that's going to be fully complete.
Is that Swinnerton is leaving that
that's
area?
Erickson Hall.
Erickson from the tennis
Erickson
courts?
Hall, yes.
Got it. Thank you.
As far as B3 before, the actual hard construction work inside the building is like 99% complete. They are working on some punch list items, some of the items that was missed or needed some repair. And they have started installation of the low voltage work. They are pulling cables and wiring for mainly the audio visual, which is the extensive amount of the low voltage. And as I said the last time, we are hoping to be done like by mid of the following months and just ready for the students to use it. And the last good news that I have is the RFQ for the south side parking lot is out in the street right now. And we are hoping to basically bring forward by the middle of next month the design builder to start designing the south side parking lot.
Thank you.
And let's go around. Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, gentlemen. I just have one question. The last time that we met, we were under the understanding that Peters would be ready to at least be used by October 17th, which we actually had someone present in our city who came from out of town. And the only thing that we were waiting on was 4 to 6 weeks on the audio visual. Well, unfortunately, when that date came, we were actually turned away from going inside because they said, you can't be here, it's an active construction zone. And then we were able to take a peek inside, and it wasn't even remotely ready to be walked into by any non-hard hat wearing, yellow vest wearing person. So can you please give us an update on when that room is going to be available for the average commoner to walk through without permission that has got nothing to do with the audio-visual equipment?
I'm sorry to hear that. I wasn't aware that you were planning to get into that. Since that date moved, we are still, basically, it's still in the control of the contractor. But as far as the actual construction, I don't see anything happening. That's if we need to just have them move out and just do the audio visual at night, that's totally doable right now. There is not really that much of hard construction happening inside the building. So,
well, if we go back to the last board meeting, the date had never moved at all. The October 17th date was told by you guys that the room was going to be ready for the 17th to do something inside of. It was only the audio-visual equipment that was not going to be ready. So the date actually never moved at all. We never discussed a future date of the building. It was just the date of the audio-visual. And as you know, we've been conversing back and forth by email about some guests that I had coming in talking about audio-visual equipment, but it had nothing to do with the building itself. Then when these people came, the building was not even able to be walked into at all. And even though we were able to go in just a few feet, we had noticed that it wasn't even close to being ready for anyone to walk into. So to say that the date had been pushed, if the date had been pushed, I would have asked, well, what is going to be that new date? So that's going to be my question now. What is the new date of the building itself being okay to walk into, not counting when the audiovisual equipment is going to be installed?
Again, I think the building can walk, as far as the building in the position of the contractor that's the case, because again, they are working. If you have any intention, the seats are still covered because we don't want them to damage. The floors are covered because we don't want to get any damage. If the intention is to just have all of that removed, we can just make that happen in a matter of couple of days. And with the understanding the audio-visual systems are not operational.
Okay, that still wasn't an answer though. What date is the completion of the room?
Including audio, video?
No, not including audio video. I've only asked 3 times. I haven't got an answer.
But my understanding is in construction, there's no, you don't give a date until the whole thing is ready. So I'm
Yes,
with
Judy,
you.
I understand, but with all due respect, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the people that are in charge of this, where we've been told. I was told at a board meeting that October 17th was going to be our launch, and that we could still use the room. We just couldn't have an audio-visual system, which would take 4 to 6 weeks. No other date was given at that time, and no other date was said to say that we were pushing that date into the future. So as of the last board meeting from 3 weeks ago, no one had informed us that October 17th was not a date that we could walk into that room. So if October 17th was a date that was given to us, then Judy, I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you. There's another date that someone can say. Yes, obviously you can't be held to it, since I've been told 30 other dates in the past that have all missed their spot. But maybe we can now finally say, in best guesstimation, that a specific date has been identified as what your goal is, to have everything complete minus the audiovisual equipment. Or are you saying now that the room will be ready when the audiovisual equipment is done, and that will be the completion date of the construction as well?
Well, Again, I think the date was moved in the last board meeting. I'm sorry if, again, that wasn't communicated very well. But if there is any intention that to have all the protections and everything moved, to have the room ready before, without audiovisual thing, we can make that happen by end of this week. Again, the room is construction, actual hard construction can be done, but the audiovisual, as was said, is not going to be operational with another 4 to 6 weeks. So
I think
I also want to bring up the outdoor patio area. We went over the videotape from the board meeting from several months ago when we talked about the outdoor patio area, which I know that Mrs. Marcus, who had reservations against it and voted no, which I actually now agree with her, because now the patio is covered with a dirt top. When I had talked to Will after it was done, it was relayed to me from you, Will, that was discussed in the meeting, that it was going to have a dirt surface. Well, I've watched back that board meeting about 17 times now and taken extensive notes, and not one time was it mentioned in that board meeting when we voted on it that it was going to have a dirt top. You had used the word landscaped, but anyone who lives in the city of Beverly Hills knows that landscaped means like the landscaping around your property, not the actual property. And so then when it came out as dirt, a part of that meeting, I had made a comment about, hosting VIP areas and, cocktail events. Judy had even made a comment about VIP area and cocktail events. I even made a comment about building something similar to the Wallace Annenberg Theater up at City Hall, and that was kind of the general consensus. But then it turned into this, which just after this rainstorm that we had, this kind of mud pit, and and also students who've been over there sitting in that area have been trekking dirt into their classrooms and up the stairs. So I'm really upset with this because watching back at that video, seeing the plan that was presented and going through the plan and seeing the visuals of the plan, at no time was it told to the board that this area was going to have a dirt top. And if I knew that, I would have never voted for it. So I would just love for you guys to just make a comment on that area. And if you'd like to go back and watch that tape, I wish you would. But at no time, when we had asked several questions, and I know several people on the board had said, can you please explain it to me? Not one time was the word dirt or compacted, whatever it's called. It was never said. And I feel like I was duped into my yes vote because I would have never voted for something that is what it is that's sitting there right now.
Yeah, so I do apologize. I haven't gone back and watched that board meeting, but most likely we did refer to DG or decomposed granite surface, and maybe we did say landscaping. I haven't gone back and listened to that board meeting. Otherwise, in addition to that, though, we are moving forward putting in pavers along that surface to make it more presentable and able to accommodate any events that we want to have on that surface. So I do apologize if we didn't clearly explain what was being installed as part of that courtyard project. Yeah, that's all I can say is I apologize that we didn't make it clear.
To that, it's, first of all, thank you for coming. I did request that we have an update of B3, B4 in every single board meeting because it's so important that we do know exactly what's happening in the construction. In regards to everything else, we do everything else also. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. Now, what I wanted to say is that I thank Mr. Stewart for bringing that up because I feel the exact same way. We spent $250,000. Mrs. Marcus was the only one that did not want to do it. I also voted yes, and I regret it because I think that we need to know in detail what we're gonna get for $250,000. It's a very small area. It was filled with dirt. I'm assuming the lamp posts are part of that 250,000. I don't know what else. I know we had the concrete. The landscaping is not that much money. I've done projects like this 10 times, million times fold, and it didn't even near this cost. So I agree. I think pavers is, I don't know if that's going to cut it. I think that we should have had a design. We should have seen exactly what's going to come out of it. How can we fix this? Because I agree, it's dirt. Nobody can enjoy it. Nobody can walk on it. The kids will bring dirt into the classroom, whether it's gravel, whatever. We know what dirt is, So what can we do to fix this? Because my heart aches when we spend so much money on something that I feel the district is getting ripped off. And for that reason, Mrs. Monticelli wanted to be a board member. That triggered her, It triggered me on the education, the Blue Ribbon School, but I'm not going to ignore this, especially since I am a contractor. So I looked through everything and dig everything, and I was going to bring that up, and I actually even wrote it before Mr. Stewart brought it up. So please, please, please let us know what we can do about this.
So yeah, what we can do is add pavers into a majority of the area, and also maybe some artificial turf was suggested. Those are two things we can do to improve the area. And we can come back to you with a design and clearly describe what we would propose to do and move forward with that with your approval.
Okay, I sincerely appreciate that. So if there can be some kind of design to improve that area so that we can really utilize it, and it looks like $250,000 worth, that's a lot of money. I think we would be very happy. I'm speaking for myself. Everybody else can say what they.
I will agree. I walked the area a couple weeks ago when I did that afternoon tour, and overall the area looked just fine. And you can see that there's also irrigation, like the engineering and the lighting that goes along with it. So I just would suggest that in your mind's eye, you imagine a terrace feel. And actually, Mr. Stewart and I did discuss the area outside of the Annenberg for comparison, and I forwarded it to Dr. Chernus, and I asked him to share that with you, Will. So I think you know where we're going with this, which is that the surrounding area looks fine, great. It's that middle rectangular portion that's not going to serve the needs of, an outdoor terrace venue that is auditorium adjacent. So looking forward to seeing some kind of a rendering, please.
But don't come back with a big price.
And on behalf of certain board members, all of us, I would say, please cross your T's and dot your I's on the price as well. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions or, wait, we didn't get, we just got to Mr. Stewart. Are there any other comments on the presentation about buildings 3 and 4?
Well, I do want to come to a consensus so that we're providing Founder Solari and Mr. Karat with an actual answer, because it seems like what is before us is that KL Peters is complete, but for maybe a couple punch list items, and of course the AV system.
So yeah.
What do we want to do as a unit?
Well, I don't think Mr. Stewart's question has been answered. So let me rephrase it. When can kids go in without the use of AV?
Well, again, if that's the direction that you want to do, I can make it happen like by end of the month. So we just have them clean it up, put all the protection out, and the building can be used.
But Dr. Chernus, can I make a notation? Sometimes it's not preferred for you to ask your GC to demobilize because you might not get them back, or they start another project.
I agree.
So I hesitate.
Yeah,
So I'd like to say also, I would like to jump in on what you just said. If you go ahead and close everything, you're going to have to open it in order to do the audio and the visual and everything like that. So that's going backwards. And I think maybe Mr. Stewart, maybe if it's explained to him, in the right way, it's not possible
Well-
for us to have the students go in.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Without getting
I'm
the
not-
audio
I'm not
and
asking you
visual.
to-
Is it possible?
I'm not asking
I
you
don't
to slow down the project. What I'm asking is, what Mr. Stewart's asking is, when can we use it in absence of AV? Or is that even possible? Because if it's not possible, that's not what we originally
AV
told.
is
Or
audio
do you
visual for
recommend
people to-
against that approach? Because I think about insurance and other considerations. So what do you think is the right way to go?
But it's definitely a slow down the process. Thank you for your comment, because we have to have them to do all the audiovisual work at night. They have to have the lift, just bring it to the building, get it out of the building. But if that's the preference, it's doable. Again, that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't think it should be the preference. I think the understanding is that we need to finish the project.
yes.
And if we just do it for the students to come in and close up the gaps and close up the holes for liability purposes, there's no way we can do the AV audio visual production.
correct, yeah.
Right? So I think Mr. Stewart, maybe that was his question, and I think the answer would be, we need to finish it, right? So we get the final product.
Sure, yeah,
And
that's
then
absolutely.
I think it's very difficult because everybody wants a date. And I think I think it's better to go, to be realistic. And instead of saying, we'll be finished in 2 weeks just to make everybody happy. And then in 2 weeks, we're not finished and everybody gets more miserable. It's better to say, what is realistic with all the audio and visual, everything to be installed, done, completed.
Well, realistically, Amin and I were talking about this earlier, and November 15th was a date. We were thinking realistically everything would be done. Of course, that is barring unforeseens, which aren't too many right now, or can't be really too many right now because we're so far along.
That's the date that's communicated with the upper management of the provost.
Okay, so I appreciate that. So that's like in 2.5 weeks?
But that, exactly.
We're like
So
end of October.
When you gentlemen mentioned
3.5?
4 to 6 weeks for AV, was that 4 to 6 weeks from October 17th?
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're thinking, so then if I'm understanding, it's somewhere between November 15th and November 28th?
Yeah.
Okay.
So has all the material arrived? Do we have everything that needs to be installed, or it has not arrived yet?
You're talking about the audiovisual?
Yes.
The material is delivered to the site, and again, as of yesterday, they have started pulling all the cables, and they are
Okay, so
basically.
they have everything they need. We're not waiting
Yes.
for
So there's
anything.
ongoing work.
It's just
Yes, they are
about,
working.
yeah, it's just about the work right now, the labor, right? We're just
Yes.
about labor.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, I would recommend that in that case, business
And
continues
programming,
as
obviously.
usual.
Yeah,
Their construction.
Mr. Stewart, is that answer your question? I mean, I would recommend them continuing and not closing up, the holes or anything.
Yeah, Ms. Sabag, I never asked them to stop. I never asked. My question's about accountability. My question is I was on a tour 6 months ago where I was told by this team that we would be open July 30th. And I have it on film because I was filming at that time. Then it was pushed again. Then it was pushed again. We've been trying to plan the state of the district event. We've got the city who wants to use the venue. We've got our own school plays that are waiting. We have third-party people that are looking forward to coming in and renting our venue. So this is not just about one singular topic or one singular group. There's a lot of anticipation here. So we're getting these same questions. When can we come in? When can we book it? When can we, see something? So, and again, I'm fully aware that things happen and things need to be moved. But it was a massive surprise to me when 3 weeks ago, all I've been hearing is October 17th, October 17th, October 17th. And then at the last board meeting, it was, well, it'll be October 17th. It just won't be with audio visual equipment. That's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, which of course I was blown away by that. But I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to, argue 4 to 6 weeks. But at no time in that meeting, and again, you can go back to the meeting and watch it. At no time in that meeting was the date of October 17th about still being able to host something minus the audio visual system. At no time was that date pushed. The audio-visual system was pushed, but at no time was the October 17th date pushed. So now I'm hearing, oh, well, that was automatically pushed just because of the audio-visual system. Well, those were not mutually exclusive. So all I'm looking for, no, I don't want to just take off the plastic covers and clean up just so some kids can go in there. Of course not. I want it completed. I'm just talking about accountability. We are accountable to our constituents who are asking, when is this done? The only people that we can ask are the two gentlemen sitting in those two chairs right there. So the only information I have from last time, and I spoke to Dr. Chernus about this, I spoke to Colby about this, that's saying that no one has changed the date of October 17th. So when I went there on October 17th, the Friday, I was blown away that I was turned away by people saying that this is an active construction zone where looking inside, the stage wasn't done, the main lobby wasn't done, there's lots of other things that are not done. So it was not ready. So the question is, if it was not ready for October 17th and the date had been pushed, well, how did we have a date of October 17th in the first place, but now it's unfair to ask for a date? It's very confusing. And yes, again, I'll reiterate, I know things happen and I know that it's very fluid, but still to have this kind of, floating scale where there's so much anticipation and so many people that are waiting for this, not getting proper information is just, it's making me very frustrated.
I think the frustration stems from we are done with the construction. We are like, we want to finish everything. It's been too long, too many years. And I think what happens is every time we receive a date, even in the past, has nothing to do with like now or what you're going through. I'm just saying we're so traumatized. Like every time we hear a date, this is going to be finished on such and such date, it just never happens. And I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying the frustration lies on everything. I don't recall whenever the district said that a construction was going to finish and this day it happened. So let's make it realistic. Let's make sure that we have a real date on moving forward in whatever we do. And I think that'll lessen the frustration.
Thank you. Dr. Stern, you have anything to add?
I don't, thank you.
And Mrs. Zabaga, you finished?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I know what's going on here is the frustration of when we sign off, is it done? And I just sense the angst and the frustration of the members of the board, as well as myself, that I keep saying, well, when? When will Pro West leave the grounds? It's done, and everything has been completed. Whether you can watch it that day or not, when is it going to be done? And I know I don't know the answer, and that's what I think Mr. Stewart is trying to get, and it's frustrating. It's all of our trying to get the same answer. So thank you again. Hopefully news will get better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Seaman, you were going to talk about the Beverly Hills Library, and you had a request to talk about maybe bringing it up to date a little bit or revitalizing it a little bit, whatever.
Yeah, good evening, Board of Education. This is going to be a whirlwind in a history of the BHHS library. And I want to thank Jessica J., the BHHS librarian. I want to thank the site administration and Ms. Austin as well for assisting in being able to pull all this information together in a pretty little package. Real quick, just so you guys know that the last library refresh, and I want to set the stage too, we're not coming to the board recommending a drastic shift. We're really looking at drastic shift. We're really looking at just this as a refresh. Yes. To be able to look inside. So the last time it was painted, it was back in 22-23. You'll also see really the only other thing outside of the refresh was the technology that was placed inside the center. The actual physical shell of it and the furniture inside the library has not been touched in numerous years. So as we kind of flip through, you'll see all the things that the library actually does provide. And I love that Charlotte's here so she can kind of back me in. Our BHHS library, I've never been in there without students being in there. Some of the things that you can see on slide 3, it is open from 7:30 to 4:30. You know, we have pulled attendance that already just from Fast Pass, our Smart Pass alone, we can collect the data on how many students have actually entered or received a pass to go to the library for a variety of different reasons, whether that be doing research, needing to print things, needing support with technology, needing to check things out. So I just wanted to start there because we always want to ask how many students are actually accessing the space. Is it worth us investing some time and efforts? Not only is it there for a course is taught, if you guys remember this year we launched AP Research, which was piggybacked off of another course that we launched last year. So Jessica J and one of our English teachers co-facilitate AP Research. So not only is there a class taught in there, an advanced placement course, we also have all these wide varieties of other things too, whether that be different groups that are run there during lunch periods or even before or after school. So I'm going to kind of keep flying through. Again, I mentioned that there's some AP Hug goes in there, media literacy classes, AP Seminar. Here are some of the services that we also offer in the library. Why is this all important? Because it is a very communal space and it's used for many, many different things. So let's get to the jump. So here is kind of the ask. Yeah, sorry, you guys. I told you it was going to be quick. I am on the vision portion. So ultimately, when asked and approached the BHHS librarian and also site-based administration, plus also our internal technology team, Mr. Sankman's running around here supporting us, there's a couple of things. One is just dividing up a large conference room. We do have other conference room space that we never had before. So I remember when I came in 2017, I used to meet with the high school administration a lot in the BHHS library space because that was our main conference space. And now it's used by different clubs and opportunities for students to quiet study. What we're asking for is really kind of dividing up that space into a different additional quiet study spaces like you would see on a college campus. Also a Genius Bar, which is, there's photos to follow, which is really interesting. Right now, Charlotte is as my witness. We're sending a lot of kids down to the media center where we are doing a lot of the professional development or hosting other keynote speakers, club speakers and stuff and using that space in other formats. It kind of goes hand in hand to have your library resources, your printing center, and a Genius Bar all there at the same time. Genius Bar meaning student support for technology. And then updating your seating and furniture.
Genius.
That
Pun
is
intended.
genius. Updating seating and furniture, and then obviously the carpet, as you go in there, these are things that just has not been touched. I came in 2017. I haven't seen, some of that stuff has aged me well before then. And then updating the front counter, just making it more streamlined, more user-friendly. The other piece that we're going to have to discuss with our maintenance operations team is just the accessibility for electricity. You know, because you know, technology, printers, things like that do take a drain. That library was probably created in 1960s. And so there is just also some electrical issues and relocation of technology. So in all, we really are looking at potentially utilizing, whether that be winter break or summer, looking at some of the electrical issues that we're faced with, updating some of the technology that's placed inside there, doing a refresh of the carpet and potentially removing some of the furniture, placing a Genius Bar in there, and really giving it a college level feel for students to go in there and study. And at the beginning of the presentation, I just want to reassure the board, the space is utilized. We do have the data that kids are trafficking through there. They're utilizing it not only for AP level coursework, meaning it's taught inside that space, in addition to clubs are going through there and all the different help. And so again, I look to Charlotte to my left for my backup. And so here's some of the space ideas is what we hope it would potentially look like. Again, that kind of college style. And you'll see these individual study like you can go literally to SMC or USC. I went to USC for a year program, and these are literally in the hallways for people to be able to study independently.
Yeah.
And just an idea of the Genius Bar that we see all over the place, whether that be at the Apple Store or Barnes and Nobles. And that wraps up.
Thank you. Do you have
All right, let's go around. Mr. Stewart, would you like to make a comment or two?
Yes, I would. Thank you so much, Dustin. That was absolutely phenomenal. I agree. The library definitely needs an update. I think the Genius Bar is absolutely genius. I can't believe I just said that out loud. But I mean, look, it's been a historic room that has got so much character, but unfortunately, like that entire A building, needs a big facelift. So I think this is great. And I'm just looking forward to a deeper plan, because I think that we can utilize a lot of that space for something incredibly modern, and this is a great start.
Thank you. Ms. Cavey.
Thank you for your presentation. Honestly, this made me realize how overlooked the library has been. When you say all of this, all of the needs, it makes me realize really how much we do need in the space. 100% I agree we need to upgrade that Wi-Fi, because when you're trying to print things before class, when you're in a rush, the Wi-Fi is really slow. So that's a great point that you brought up. I just wanted to point out that the library not only is a space where classes are taught, club meetings are held, people go to study, it's also just a space where students go for privacy when they want to be alone, when they want to focus on whatever it is they're doing. It may not even be academic related. And so I think that creating a space that's more appealing to be in definitely aids in that. It's more calming for the students to be in a space that they actually like. And so I think this is not only beneficial for academics, for clubs, for all of those things, but it's also beneficial just for hanging out and finding your center. So, yeah, I think this is amazing. I love all the ideas, and I'm really glad that this is something that we're bringing up.
Mrs. Manicherry.
Thank you. Dr. Chernus, thank you for adding this to the agenda, and thank you both for doing this legwork. I do believe that library revitalization is the actual perfect description of what needs to be done. What happened is that in open house, I passed by the library and I ended up going inside, and I spent a few minutes with Miss J, who was very welcoming and very enthused about the service that she provides as the librarian and with the library facilities. The library facility is currently neat, clean, tidy, and safe. And so our students' basic needs are being met. And you can even see, for example, that the shelving that we have, they don't even make wood like that anymore. It's true. The quality is great. It just needs to be revitalized, whether I think the Genius Bar is a great idea, if you want to make a makerspace table, and new furnishings. The carpet didn't bother me as much if there was new, refreshed furniture. And so I do think that we need to start considering the spaces that all of our students are using, and we know that Building A is everybody's primary hub, and it has been a little forgotten. So we've done some things. 2 summers ago, we refreshed the cafeteria, which looks fantastic, and thank you to our M&O team on that. We have repainted Building A in the last couple of years, and that looks great. And I think the next step is the library revitalization. To your point about timing, I am interested to know, when would be the right time with the least impact on our students. Maybe it's something that we start planning with you and Mr. Karat, and so on, and then it's a June 1st launch. I'll leave that to you guys. I know we have a lot on the horizon in the next couple months, but I do think that this should be the hub you know, and I do look to Royce Library and Powell Library at UCLA, and even Beverly Hills Public Library is super updated and pretty. So thank you for the legwork. I wholeheartedly support this, and I look forward to something that maybe is a little bit more of a specific rendering so that there's no confusion about what's going to happen before you guys start. Thank you.
Dr. Stern.
This is great. It reminds me, no, I don't mean to give a TED talk right now, but about 2 years ago, I wrote an article for Education World, and specifically I wrote about the need for alternative seating. And it sounds like a superficial issue, but it's not. As children have come away from how we were, let's say, in the 80s, which I miss, which was being more outside and more physically full in our leisure time, as kids have become more focused on studying in certain ways, and also neurodivergence, which just describes how there are a lot of children, more so boys than girls, but there are a lot of children who have some difficulties that could be related to autism spectrum disorder or not, but they're just neurodivergent, which basically means that to sit 90 degrees like this for a long time, the way we all did in the 80s, is not necessarily the best way to learn. And that's sort of what I wrote about, that alternative seating requirements not only favors solitary learning in a better way, but also more communal learning and collaboration. So what you show here not only looks a lot better, but it sort of is a nod to what I was saying, which is alternative ways of seating. And then the Genius Bar, I think what you mean by that is that, isn't that the Mac where you go to get your iPhone repaired and they call it the Genius Bar? So, but you're meaning to say that it's like a standing, kind of a standing, right. But you're not sitting there for hours on end. And I think that's the larger thread and theme of this. And I also do appreciate what you had to share, Ms. Cabinet, which is that there are students for sure, either they're neurodivergent, as I said, or they prefer to spend their lunchtime or whatever with a book or with chess or a Lego set or whatever, and that's fine, and that is a safe place for them to do that. I also think that there must be many, many books that have sat there for a long time that have been untapped. And I think that's more of a situation in some of the big universities, but that is space that could be used, and it really would take a monumental effort to figure out which books are old and which ones should go. And in the name of the fact that we have microchips and things that are digitalized, we really have to think about, our relationship with educational materials in space, given that we can have so many things on, it's no longer microfiche, but how we store them digitally. So I think that a refresh is absolutely necessary. I think that whether we like it or not, a lot of studying tools do require electricity, whether it's because you're typing a draft on your laptop or you are conferring with others on an iPad. And so the cluster of desks that you show, and I think Ms. Sabag was mentioning to me, there should be, the USB ports and things like that, and that will lend itself to collaboration that is digital. There are, there's ways that people collaborate through Zoom or Google Meet, every day. And I think that there are ways to make it much more efficient in the library sense. So thank you for that.
Mrs. Sabag.
So thank you for bringing this to the board. I actually toured the library, and it's literally like walking into 1950. There's something very special about it, maybe the 60s, but you really feel like you're walking back in time. And I even spoke to my high schooler about it. They love the library. And it's interesting because you have, like, even where the bookshelves are, I think it's written or it's stuck on, like with a paper. It's like there's nothing modernized about that library. It's exactly the same way it was, and the whole A building for that matter, but that's a whole other thing. And then you said that you were thinking of maybe starting in July?
Yeah, I think really June is the best time because we don't actually utilize the space during summer school.
I was
So,
thinking
like,
maybe you
June
can
1st.
do something to advertise it for movies, because they can do a movie in that library. You're back in time, like whatever, 1960. You have a library, you have a high school library right there. Yeah. So what I wanted to say is that when you do bring it to the board as a design, I would love for it to be completely efficient. I think modeling maybe like our Beverly Hills Public Library. They're pretty efficient. The kids go there all the time. I know my kids go there almost every day. And if you put the chairs in, have the electric, like for every student to have a space where they can utilize completely and not wait for another space. And also they have at the public library, they have closed glass rooms that you can sign up for, and that gives you complete privacy, and I know that's really important. I don't know how much space we have there, but it would be really important to design it right, because this is the first time we're ever going to touch it. So I'm glad we're discussing it. Thank you.
Oh, okay, well, I would like to thank you again for this, and we spoke a little bit about this. My only concern about this, of course, is the only thing is to understand the cost of something that this would result in. So I would hope that we would know ahead of time rather than getting a surprise that we're buying furniture that maybe. But I will say this about the design that you've shown me. It is much more inviting than what's there now. I have to tell you, I walk through B2 where kids have these carols to study in it. And they are not very warm to me. It's an area that has no warmth. It's cold. There's just some benches, and I can see where the library might be a place that would be a lot warmer and inviting. And I asked you when we talked about this, how many students actually use the library? And I was really surprised you said you would present the numbers. And I have to tell you, I was surprised at the numbers. I thought that was really terrific, because I didn't think in today's world that the kids went to the library. And they do go to the library, they meet there. And I think there'll be a lot more kids that'll go there if it looks inviting and looks warm, looks like a place that they'd like to meet. It's like a place away from home. It was really, the pictures you showed of some of the furniture really made me think that this would make a difference to the kids. So as I say, I thank you for doing this. Whenever you can start, I only wish that before we start, we have an idea of what this is going to cost us, because I don't think that I want to have a surprise and not know in advance. And there may be some ways we can get some things where people might sponsor them by having this carol area has been paid for by so-and-so family through whatever BHEF or something like that.
Or maybe even developer funds as well could go towards.
Well, I mentioned that to Dr. Chernus, I believe, about developer funds for this also. So, yes, I definitely, and I would love to see this come to us sooner rather than later with an idea so we can get started, because there's no sense waiting around. It's not going to get any nicer by sitting there. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you. Okay, we are now arriving at the meeting reports. This is toward the end of the meeting now, and I'm going to start with Ms. Cavey, because she looks like she'd like to go home. No, I'm just teasing.
That's not true.
I know you love to be here with us.
I do. I love it.
I love having you.
Thank you. I love being here. I just want to highlight the new tutoring program. I think that's amazing. I'm really excited for that to get started. I also just want to give I really want to emphasize how grateful all of our teams are. On behalf of Dan's company, I know we love our new Nike sets. We love it. And I know that all the other teams also love it. So I just want to give a really big thank you, and I'm just really happy with everything that the district is doing for our students, and I think we're moving in a great direction.
Thank you so much. Mr. Stewart.
Thank you so much. I'm going to keep mine very short, but instead of touching upon a whole bunch of things, I appreciate your vote of confidence, Mrs. Marcus. I want to bring up, I know this was brought up earlier, but I want to bring up my trip to Beverly Hills High School Prime with Dr. Chernus. I don't think that this program is given enough light, and I don't think this program is given enough credit. When I walked into that room, I cannot tell you how inspired I was. I've been in many classrooms now across all of our schools, and I've never seen just every single student had a big smile on their face. Mr. Wood and the whole team was so inviting. The energy in the room was just absolutely incredible. And I just want to highlight just the life skills that are being taught in that room, not only from the business that they run in the Prime Cup of Joe, which I thought was incredible, which Dr. Turnus got to enjoy a latte, I believe, but the home economics, from doing laundry to ironing to all of these different things, all of these traditional life skills that modern schools have kind of dropped off and are really not thought of. And these kids are working so hard. They are absolutely phenomenal, and just the whole program itself, I just think is not only so wonderful in what we're doing for these incredible special needs kids, but the fact that they're learning skills that I wish everyone was learning, and the fact that they're learning things that they're going to be immediately incredibly productive members of society, where even our able-bodied kids are not even learning these basic skills. So I just want to give a really big shout out and big highlight to Prime. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And just the job that they're doing is just something that we should all be incredibly proud of.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mrs. Manicherry.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge how much is going on at BHUSD these days. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed when I get the emails from the high school with the photos, the middle school, and as well both elementary schools. I thought that the work in the summer was phenomenal, and there was a lot of heavy lifting, and I breathed a huge sigh of relief with 3 new principals and admin teams in the first couple weeks of school, and it was from the outside felt quite seamless. And to now start turning the corner of the academic school year and have the homecoming week behind us, and to see the passion and the community building and the camaraderie among all the schools to support our high schoolers, our football team, our dance, our cheerleading, has just been the best in the couple of years that I've been on the board. And so there is so much going on, whether it's from Dr. Chernus and Dr. Seaman, your teams, our construction and facilities, student services. I mean, I hate to mention names because I know I'm leaving somebody out, but our staff is working really hard, and it does not go unnoticed. Mrs. Sabag, you hit the nail on the head. We are officially a public school system that is operating and feels very much like a private school. And it doesn't mean that we don't have room for improvement. You can love BHUSD and want more from BHUSD at the same time, and I think we work on that every day. I just want to acknowledge everybody for all your hard work, ranging from our yard aides, our security, to everybody sitting in this room. I also do want to share that one of our security guards, Pierre, has shared with our community that he's doing a lot better. He had a major health issue and an organ transplant. And Dr. Chernus and I have both been in touch with his dad, who is wonderful and is such a classy and articulate gentleman. And so I just want to send Pierre our best, and we can't wait to have him back. And that's all I have to say for tonight. Thank you.
Dr. Stern.
Thank you, Judy, Ms. Manicherry, for speaking about Pierre, and I appreciate that, hearing about that. Shifting a little bit, one of the things I do read a lot, and one of the things I was looking at and that I try to keep abreast of, and I know Mr. Stewart does as well, is matters that concern AI, and that's artificial intelligence. It is a huge source of new developments, of different segues as it intersects with education. I suspect it's something that we as a district will continue to be apprised of. It will ultimately affect every aspect of our teaching, how we learn, our professionalism, and that is a good thing. However, I do want to continue to caution our community. I think it was about 2 years ago, I brought forth a resolution concerning digital citizenry. And as the tools become more sophisticated and as our children reach adolescence, let's say, they can be prone to doing things that aren't uncommon for adolescents, but can nonetheless have very unfortunate impacts to some of our students. And most schools have had to deal with this issue to some degree, that some wayward students may have manufactured something, you know. I'm not saying it's unique to our students, but it is a real and pressing problem among districts. And I just want parents to be aware that there are increasingly sophisticated AI tools out there that not only adults, bad actors may use to, for example, put someone in a scene that looks realistic, like they really are there, but they're not. But just be aware that your children, you know, could have access to that, and you should be aware of what they're doing, because, you know, should they do something to someone that they're not getting along with, or even as a joke, it can have very serious consequences. So I caution our educators, our parents, and students themselves to really be aware of how sophisticated these tools are these days. I do not want to mention the name of the one because I don't want everyone to go and look for it, but it's out there now. It's quite a beast, and it really can look incredibly real by making people say certain things or being placed in a certain scene. So I'm really hoping that we do not experience anything untoward, but I want to remind the community that we do have a resolution that does ask for everyone to have the best of intentions when they create online posts, and that we continue to hold our community to the highest standards, whether you're staff or your parents or your kids. Thank you.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yeah, I wanted, thank you for everybody's report. It's really informative. I wanted just to say, in regards to homecoming and in regards to the football team, I feel strongly that the football team is incredibly important, just like any other educational that we do, and what we're doing, tutoring, you know, for any other instructional that we do. I think we need to sharpen up the football team. I think we need to support and see what we can do to lift them. And the school spirit is so important. And I saw how, even though I couldn't make it that Friday, my daughter was there, I saw how the school spirit was so lifted. There were a lot of people there, even from the community was invited. And, you know, like we said, the elementary, the principals, everybody was there. And we just need to support our football players and get that lifted. Thank you.
Oh, well, being last to speak, everybody has pretty well covered a lot of what I'm going to say or what I've written down to say, but I would like to make just a few things that I put down that were not covered. This Sunday at Horace Mann School is the cultural fair, and it starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they do a tremendous job of with talent and shows and food and you name it, they have it there, and it's a wonderful program, and I encourage everybody to go out and see it, because you will be amazed at the way they handle their cultural fair. I was also at the Not Today Cancer and the Run with the Stars, though I didn't run with the stars. But I do need to tell you that that event, from the day that it started, when I first attended the very first walk for Mr. Mason, it has grown leaps and bounds, and now it's so huge. It's a wonderful, wonderful citywide event that brings the whole community together, and I think it should be just, everybody should be aware of it. It's unbelievable. I'm going to be starting, not this week, it was canceled, but I'm looking forward to starting my instructional walkthroughs with Dr. Seaman and going to all of the schools and meeting some more of the teachers. That's one of the things that I love to do, and I'm going to look forward to doing that. Of course, Halloween is coming, and I just want to encourage everybody to keep their children safe, but if you get a chance, go to the elementary schools and watch the kids parade around. It's amazing. They are adorable, and the parents come out, and it's really fun to watch, and I think it does a lot for the spirit at the elementary schools as well. So I just hope that and that you will take advantage of going to see. I think they may do it the day before Halloween. I'm not sure. I know I got an invitation to one of the schools. I think it was the 30th, but I'm not sure. I'll look again. And other than that, I think that I do want to just mention the atmosphere at the football game. The whole spirit of it was caught that night, and I think you could just feel the way the kids felt and how they supported their school. It was really wonderful, and I hope that it continues that way. I did attend the PTA council meeting last week, gave a brief report of what's going on, and Dr. Chernus mentioned some of the things. I think we should, I hope everybody will be aware of what's going on in terms of the move we made with the BH1 and getting the kids safe at El Rodeo School. Before I close the meeting, I want to remind everybody that we are going to have a special board meeting October 28th from 4 o'clock. There will be an agenda that's posted. I encourage everybody to either show up or watch, because we're going to be talking about the strategic plan and some of the other important issues. Then on November 4th, we will have a regular board meeting at 5 o'clock here in the district office. And with that, if there's no other business, I will adjourn the meeting. It is 7:50. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
She said 7:50. Smile.
Well, it's 7:50.
Yeah, bravo. Thank